What's going on, my Niji tribe? Uh, this is Dr. Sean, a motivational dentist. And as you can see from the title of this video, we will be discussing something um, that corresponds to all the information we've been learning about our history, our genealogy, and what it truly means to be woke. Now, I've came to the conclusion after studying for a few weeks and just being exposed to this information for a few years, but not really diving deep into it. And I came to the realization that there are two versions of being woke because I thought I was woke, but I wasn't woke. So, what is the difference, you might ask? What's the difference between being woke and being woke? Um, And I'm just coming from a background of going to church every Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Bible study, revival, all of these different things. I come from that type of background in the dirty South, Florida. Um, Church is very prominent. So I was all into the church. And as I got older, I had a lot of questions since being a child, but as I got older, I never really investigated it. I just went with the flow. Like a lot of us do, we just go with whatever our parents or whoever is the head of the household, if whatever their religion is, that's normally what you follow. Even if it's not right, you just trusting that it's right. So my grandma was deep into the church. Um, but as far as being woke, that's not a version of being woke. So when people describe being woke, like in the past couple years, it meant that you were like fighting for your black rights. You were woke. You were asleep. You were paying attention. Like it just meant like you were in the loop. Like you were in the street saying Black Lives Matter. You fighting for reparations. You believe that equality should exist for black people. Um, and this is what it means to be woke in some people's eyes. Now, when I was out here claiming that I was woke before, like I'm woke, I really didn't know that I was still asleep. I didn't know that I was still asleep. And some people may be like, well, Dr. Sean, there's just too many questions to just switch and wake up and to be a whole different identity. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is not to like throw facts in your face or to throw pictures in your face. It's just to make you kind of think. In high school, I took a class called Theory of Knowledge. I was in the International Baccalaureate program, the IB program, and I absolutely hated this class. It was just one of these classes. It was my senior year. We would go in this class. Um, if you don't know what IB is, it's like an advanced placement, but a little bit above the advanced placement. It's like one of the hardest courses you could take in high school. It prepares you for college, right? So I'm in this class and I was the oddball. I never liked debating. So it's kind of like debating and testing theory of knowledge. And I had no idea that this class would come into play now. So what I'm doing now is kind of like a theory of knowledge just to get you to think a little bit outside of the box about some of the things that you believe, because this is how I woke up. Some people may be like, oh, that's too me. I was that person. I thought I was woke. Everybody else's religion was bad and mine was the best. Okay. Until I ran into information. I have a cold, if you can't tell, so I have to. So if you can't tell, being woke in the sense of being woke is totally different. But in order to get to this spot, a lot of people will stay asleep because it takes like an internal determination, like an internal drive for you to seek this information. How it starts is you get a seed planted. So, like I said, that theory of knowledge class, it prepared me for college, but it also prepared me to think critically when it comes to test taking or to analyze information being presented to me, such as all of the information I've been finding out about who I am, where I come from, and what the real fucking deal is. Okay. Because I was sleep still and I thought I was woke. but I wasn't woke. So there's woke and then there's woke. So we trying to get to woke because a lot of us are woke. We like Black Lives Matters, all this Black Lives stuff, African American. We pushing for it, we fighting for it because this is what we was born into. Like it's like, okay, I'm this person. This is who I was born into. This is what they told me. But once this information got presented to me, like over the past couple years, I kind of like it just sounds strange when you first hear it. Like, what? They did what? It just like, what? But be glad if somebody planted a seed to help you realize the truth, right? So as time went on and I started to get more clues, I said, you know what? I've been hearing this too much. You keep telling me this, but it doesn't really click. So you won't get woke until you start to do your own research. This is finding your own answers. And I feel like on the internet, a lot of times people are always screaming and yelling and trying to tell each other who they are, when that's kind of impossible unless you were there when they were made with their parents, born, their family history, their genealogy. Like you can't tell a person just from the color of their skin where they're from and who they are. And I feel like in America, we try to do that a lot. We see this chocolate skin and we're like, oh, African American, oh, they Black. And that's not true. And that's how this whole generational curse, all of these different things that are being the oppression of Black people, it's all a part of the law, right? But when you become woke, you realize, like, I've been missing the key to this mother freaking puzzle. I've been missing the key to the puzzle, right? I've been missing the key. So me being a scholar, not really accepting things for face value, I have to go do my research, y'all. So whenever you presented information, like even what I'm telling you, do your own research. So that way you can see it for your own two eyes. Because other people are going to try to wake you up and tell you what the deal is and who you are, where you come from, but they didn't do your genealogy. The key is to do your genealogy, get some oral history from your family, and try to go back. Try to dig deep. So that was the first step for me. I started doing my genealogy probably this year. And what I discovered was kind of shocking because even though it seems like so plain to know, when you do your genealogy, it kind of unlocks a key to who you are, where you come from, your ancestors, your aunts and uncles and cousins and grandma. It really fills out like a tree. So doing my genealogy was so satisfying. I'm like, why didn't I do this before? So I'm ending up being the person on the like starting this tree, and I'm going back telling, my dad who his great great grandparents were. I'm telling my family like, hey, this is our great great grandparents and aunts and uncles, and this is where they came from, and this is who they were. And I discovered I had ancestors on Choctaw land. I had ancestors on Muskogean land. I had ancestors on, um, most of the Cherokee area, especially Tallahassee, aka Tallahassee, aka um, Anihaka. The reason why I'm saying these names is because they changed the names of these places to mislead us and disconnect us from our land, our culture, our true culture, not Black culture, dead culture, but our true indigenous heritage. And that was baffling to me. I was like, okay, so did my genealogy. I realized some of my people still are in Muskogee County and in Alabama and all of these places where the indigenous, the Aboriginal people of Turtle Island were inhabiting, right? So I didn't just stop there. I said, dang, this is really shocking. Like my people never really left America. Like they was here farming. They had land, acres. Like they were very, most of my bloodlines trace back to people who were just farming and minding their business. They weren't enslaved. They weren't. And I'm like, well, if all of this was going on, when did y'all have time to bring them from Africa? So you get all of these questions starting to pop up once you do your genealogy. Doing your genealogy is key to saying that you're woke. because a lot of times what people tell you is not going to match up, and you won't switch your religion, like not switch your religion. You won't drop religion. You won't drop the African American or black title, because that leads you to nowhere. African American is a term that was made up. And I'm like, and when you hear these things, you're like, what? Yeah, you've been bamboozled. I was bamboozled too. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Feel awoke. Feel enlightened. Feel grateful that you got out of the brainwashing, or even that you're even starting to process all of this. Because for me, once I did my genealogy and I started putting all the facts together, okay, I got my genealogy. So now let's go to the landmass, right? Let's look at some old maps to see what was America called before it was colonized and the name was changed. Because America is named after this guy from Europe, white guy. I shouldn't say white, Caucasian from Europe. Americas. I think his name was Americas, right? And that wasn't the real name of America. That's why we say Turtle Island, because this is what the indigenous people, our ancestors, nicknamed this island. But this island, the Florida area, the islands down, by Cuba, Bahamas, this was all the West Indies. Okay? So once you put the names and back in place and you start to research the land and the documents. So the documents, the further you go back, the more truth they have. And I feel like with our government right now, they wanted to hide our identity, because if you don't claim your identity, they can take your land. They can say that it's unclaimed. They just abandoned the land. We didn't abandon the land. Y'all switched identity and then start to be very hostile. Um, it became a very violent, deadly environment. I even found records from one of my ancestors. It traced it back to Huntsville. I was like, Huntsville? And then it traced it back to KKK documents. I was really shocked. Like, they were terrorizing the people, like trying to force them to move. So when they talk about the Trail of Tears, it was really the trail of harassment, bullying, setting things on fire, taking lands, squatting, all these things in the name of the Bible, in the name of Jesus. This is what they was doing this in the name of Jesus. I thank God for letting me be able to steal these people land. God is so good. And you read this stuff in the history and you're like, wow, like there's no way we have the same religion. Like there's no way these murderers and killers and thieves and evil minded individuals who don't even understand humanity, who don't even understand kindness, or just you know, what being sacred and indigenous means. They just understand take, kill, kill, mine. So when I'm going through my theory of all the knowledge that I've gathered, I did my genealogy. I looked at the land, West Indies. They were called the Indians. And then you go back and you research all the documents. And the best documents to research and to know what they saw here is journals, old books. Like there's a book of the propagation of the gospel to the Indian. And then you got to say, okay, well, who is the Indian? Because I'm not talking about the Native American. That's also another plot by the government to change our identity. They had to fill it in with somebody. So they filled it in with the Native Americans. So here I was as a child in Tallahassee, Florida, being taught about Native Americans. It never hit that it was me because they didn't look like me. I'm like, okay, well, this is their land, but it's so many. I didn't think about it then, but I think about it now. Like in my hometown of Anihaka, aka Tallahassee, aka Tallahassee, it was at one point 100% Indian, aka melanated people. Even today, it's still pretty melanated. So I wonder, like, dang, where are the Native Americans? Like, what have they done? It's all just people who look like me. And then when you go and read the history and you start to put the names together, that's when it clicks. And you do your genealogy and you see on the Census Bureau that your ancestors were never called African American. You see where they wrote down Indian but put them as black. You see where a lot of fugazi start to happen. Walter Plecker reclassifying Indians to Negro. To Negro. all of the different things that they did with the Bible to try to give us religion and idols and the cross, and it just really got really deep. So every day for the past month or two, I've been finding myself one day year old. Like, dang, I'm 0 years old today. I'm just like a baby with the knowledge. Because what I thought I know, when I read, it just clarified a lot of stuff. It's like, oh, now that makes sense. And you'll start to wonder why they change the football Chiefs logo, why they changed the Florida State University Seminole logo to look more Caucasian and to look more African American, I'll say, aka Indian. Why my high school's mascot, the Redskins, was changed to the Raiders. So it was all around, even in every area of my hometown, like Appalachia Parkway, Appalachia Elementary. I went to Appalachia Elementary, and this is the Appalachia Indians. They got trailer parks full of melanated people, Appalachia Ridge. Like, it's in the land. And now when I go home, I understand why there's so much oppression, why there's so many police all over the city, like stalking the melanated people. And if you don't live there, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But I'm from there, and I've been in a whole nother city upstate in New York, Virginia, not New York area, and it's kind of not the same as that deep, dirty South, like police brutality and harassment and stalking. It's really like stalking at this point. I'll give y'all a little story of why I don't even drive home anymore. I drove home one time from New York, right? Well, we drove home. Me and my fiance, we drove home one time from New York, right? So he's driving, and we're going through some area in Georgia, probably a sundown town, even though the sun wasn't down. And they was just pulling people over. Looked like they was just pulling melanated people over, like 3, 4, 5 cops just on the side of the road pulling people over. My fiance passes. He's this tall, dark, and chocolate. And we not speeding or nothing. And we see them, so we just look like, oh, what are they doing? One of them proceeds to get behind us, follow us. So I'm like, nah, I already know how it is in the South. I say, nah, let's go to the store. We got to switch seats because I don't got time for this. I don't got time. You already know how they're going to harass an Indian, aka a black man. So we get to the store, the officer park across the street, right? And I'm like, well, dang, they just stalking us at this point. It's so ridiculous. Like, if this is one of you, if you're doing this to people, stop that shit. It's not cool, man. Like, y'all gotta stop it. Y'all gotta stop it. You don't know who in the car just because they're melanated. We're indigenous. Stop acting like we from Africa. Stop acting like we from somewhere else. It really kind of pisses me off. Now that I go back and think about all the harassment that they do. So we're at the store. The cop across the street, I think it was another cop across the street. They were just stalking us. I got in the car seat. Not the car seat. Yeah, the car seat. The driver's seat. And I'm like, Lord, I ain't even mean to say that. But, and I'm driving, and we probably like 2, 3 hours away from home. We're in Georgia. Ooh, this dude's followed me the whole way on the road that I was on for like 20 minutes. So I have to drive perfect, make sure I don't cross no lines, make sure. Like, why the fuck are you bothering me, man? This is what they do in the South. I'm not lying. This is what they do. Even though I'm a melanated Indian, now that I know doctor, they still harass you. When I go home to Tallahassee, I don't drive around at nighttime, like, because they harass you. And I don't like that. And I see them just on the areas where there's indigenous Indians, aka black people, and they sit on the road, stalk them, drive behind them. Like, it's just too much anxiety, and you don't know why you have that much anxiety. You don't know why you have that much anxiety. But just reading the history of how those Indians, aka black people, were farmers. They were on the cotton fields, like selling cotton. They were trading, building mounds. They were doing so many things. They had a community, they had a chief, they had a thriving society, they had a governmental system that wasn't like it was more like a sovereign system where you control your own self your own people like nobody's over you. They were very wealthy. They were very wealthy. They had so many resources. And these people came in, saw it, just like they did in every other territory in the West Indies Islands, the Bahamas, Cuba, all down in South America, all North America, Canada, all these areas. It was murder, 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 kill, all these things. You know, it's terrible. Like, how do we as a society heal from something that people won't even acknowledge and that you still want to try to overwrite, erase out of history? Act like we don't see it, guys. They're not going to see it. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. There's the internet, there's social media. And people just sick and tired of being harassed for two, 100, 200, 300 years and just being taken from and misled and renamed without their permission. Like, how would you feel if somebody just came in your house, said, you know what, this is my house, get out. I'm naming this house this. I'm naming you this. Now you work for me on your land. Gotcha, suckers. Like, what? Get out of here with that. If this is your mindset, something has to change. And for my people, my tribe, my Niji family, we have to really claim who we are and stop claiming this identity that allows you to be harassed, bullied, and be continue to be stolen from. So there's the two parts of being woke. One woke is, oh, I'm black, I need to fight for my rights. Not knowing that you don't have any rights, not knowing that black is made up and given to you in order to take your land, in order to make you feel oppressed, in order to teach you what happened to black people in the history books. They were on these made up slave ships and they were working on the cotton plantation, and they was dumb, they couldn't read, they couldn't write, they was this, they was that, everything negative. And when they teach their kids, it's like they did a study, like, who's beautiful? They'll point to the white girl. Who's smarter? The white girl. Who looks, you know, you know, even though they asked the black and the white girl, they both had the same answer. And I know why. I've been in those racist history classes. I've been in there like, dang, well, they better than me. Like, these white kids in this room now, they're bullying me because I'm one of the darkest ones. You see my skin? You see this copper tone? You see this copper tone? So you know that I was one of the ones that was bullied because, yeah, I ain't had no clue. But my mom, before she passed, she said, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Black is beautiful. All of these different things. Really, Indian is beautiful. The true Indian, not the ones that are in the books. Okay? So there's woke. And what is there? They're woke. I want to be on the woke side. I don't want to be thinking I'm woke and pushing out narratives that's only putting people back to sleep or only putting people more into being brainwashed. I don't want to be one of those. I want to be woke. So that's why now I read everything. I question everything. I read everything and I get the facts. I have the facts. Like, I have so many facts about what happened. So it's like when you're woke, you can't even tell a lie anymore. You can't even, play around with who you are anymore because you already wasted so much time. I wasted a couple decades being this false identity, thinking I was something else, being cheated out of history, like being oppressed, and still making it to a level where I can be like, okay, well, I know I didn't want to be poor, so I'm breaking the generational curse, not knowing that this shit was like started way, way, way back then, not knowing that I'm not even who they say I am. It's evil. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I just wanted us to just use this moment to test our theory and test our knowledge and also to check the facts. Check the facts. I keep going back to Christopher Columbus's journal because it was just so humiliating to me to read that for him. Like, bro, you really didn't have no clue. Like, they got you a whole day, Christopher Columbus Day, and he founded America, and they hype him up because he was killing people. They hype him all the way up. Just like the presidents of the United States. It always made me wonder. They say, you go to church, you pay your tithes, right? You don't pay your tithes, you won't be blessed, or it's something related to that. Or if you pay your tithes, this will lead to a blessing. But it always made me wonder, like, especially after I did my reading and I seen that one of the presidents on the money, Andrew Jackson, he went to my hometown because they couldn't overtake the Indians because they was warriors and bombed that bitch. He bombed them people. He bombed my ancestors, took the land, said, man, bump these people. This is our land now. Get the fuck back. Like, this is the type of energy they was on. This is the type of energy they was on. So once they killed us, took the land, guess what they got? Rewarded. They put their faces on money. They put their faces on holidays. They put their faces on roads and streets. They put their faces on the White House walls and told you to learn about these presidents who killed your ancestors now. Learn about them. We ain't gonna tell you what they really did. We just gonna make it all rosy color, kind of like the Bible. We ain't gonna really tell y'all what really is going on, right? We just gonna want you to learn the good stuff that we put up there. Don't go read. This is why they banned reading. This is why they banned writing. At least they thought they did. Like, how could you ban somebody from reading and writing and wearing their tribal wear and making them take it off? I went deep. So, like I said, once you know the truth and you read the truth and you read his story, this ain't your story, it's his story. Like they said, that's his story. Your story is a mystery. In order to find out who you are, you got to unlock that mystery. Do the genealogy. So, they put these people on the money, all in your faces. President's Day, all of this, Columbus Day, 4th of July, they're rewarding themselves for murdering our ancestors. But they don't want us to be attached to that, so they name them Native Americans. Native Americans aren't Indians. The Indians are us. Go look at the pictures of American Indian. That's why, like I said, in church, you have this money with murderers' faces on it, people who bombed people, killed people, stole land, but this is some kind of way gonna help me get closer to God if I turn this money in and make it make sense. I'm just speaking. I'm like, if I was in a theory of knowledge class, this is the questions that I would ask. And I'm like, well, that don't make no damn sense. We glorifying God, got the Bible, but these people who on the money murdered my ancestors, tricked them, killed them, and switched my identity, but some kind of way this is gonna help me get blessed. Then you start to do the like, I don't know about that. That don't sound right to me. So then I did a deep dive and I researched the money. And I found all these bills that they were creating throughout the time. They had $1,000 bill, like a $500 bill. My hometown of Tallahassee had a bill. I can think it was like a $5 bill, and it had Indians on top of the money. What they would call niggas on the money now. There's no way. So they said, no, we got to get them off of the money. They just, every decade, every day, they were just thinking of ways to erase us out of history. But one thing you can't do is put a seed in the dirt and expect it to die. You don't put a seed in the dirt and expect it to die just because you put more dirt on it. Like, let's cover this up. Let's cover it up, guys. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. Is that a good enough reason for you to commit this atrocity towards people and still be in control and telling people what to do and acting like they sleep and acting like you're in control and trying to make this law and that law, harassing people and stalking people for being the color that they are, for being indigenous to the land, and you're lying like they're not? The jig is up. The jig is up. The jig is up. It's like I said, there's no way all of these things are connected to something positive. When Christopher Columbus wrote in that book, or in his journal, um, these people look like the people in Africa. They're the same skin tone, but their features are different. Their attire is different. they are, he knew that we were indigenous, but he didn't give a fuck. He was like, okay, I'm gonna take 3 kids, give me 2 adults, put them on the boat. We're gonna take them back to the king. And he was like, they're so docile. They don't know anything about murder. They don't know anything about religion. They don't have a cross. They don't have no idols. This is his words, not mine. Go read it for yourself. And he said, they're gonna be easy. He said they're gonna be easy, the overtake and kill. It's gonna be too easy. Oh, he was like, they got every fruit I wish I knew the name of the fruit. I wish I knew the name of the trees and the birds. He was like, it's so beautiful. They're so beautiful. He called the people handsome. His words, not mine. He said they're gonna be easy to kill. And it also mentioned that they came heavily armed. Because we didn't have guns. We didn't know about murder. This is our tribe. This is our people. Why would we be spending time trying to figure out how to go somewhere else and kill people and take their shit? So he said, yeah, we heavily armed. He had knives, and he was trading them gifts. So he would give them a little gift. He was like, these little gifts we get from Spain, they ain't worth nothing, but these people thinking they're something. So they were thinking that he's here to trade. So he giving them these little gifts that's worth nothing and asking them for food and taking stuff and taking people. He was kidnapping people, kidnapping guys. Like, I'm gonna bring y'all back. He got them on the boat, then bring them back. It was even telling how they was jumping off the boat because they realized, dang, this dude is evil. He ain't gonna bring me back. One of them he never took back. Like the kids and the wife, I don't think he ever took them back. And it said how the father of the wife and the kids came on the boat with them because he stole his family. Like, let me just get a show of hands. Who think this is a right way to treat people and to gain inheritance to a land? Who out there thinks this is cool? Who thinks that it's cool to still pretend like it didn't happen? Or that you change the identity of the people so they don't connect to what you really did? Who out there thinks that? Because if you think that, you're highly delusional. Just like your cousin Christopher Columbus. They got a whole day for murdering people, right? So then he said, well, we got this Bible. We're going to get in the Bible. They don't know nothing about the Bible. He said the Indians didn't know nothing about the Bible. They didn't know nothing about church. They didn't know nothing about religion. Melanated people. It was the same in the West Indies, on Turtle Island, Florida, all of that. We didn't know nothing about the Bible. We didn't know nothing about church. So if you are into the church, into the Bible, just do research on those two things. Don't listen to me. You have to do your own research. This video is more like a seed to get you started so that you can start to think like, hey, am I woke? Or am I woke? Or am I on a journey between the two? Because Dr. Sean just planted the seed, or somebody just planted a seed to make me think instead of make me just live out my days here on this earth with identity theft. So then he says, okay, they don't know nothing about religion or nothing. We're going to get on the Bible. And every one of the islands he went to, because there's a group of islands down in the Bahamas and Haiti, all that's connected. So everyone he went to, he renamed it. He was like, oh, we're going to name this La Isla. Oh, we're going to name this Los King. We're going to name this. He just renamed it. He put a fort up. He put a cross on the land. And that meant that this was his shit when he came back. So these people didn't know. He was like, they don't know. We finna come kill them. He gave them gifts. So they like, okay, this is strange. They're not thinking. But some kind of way, the message started to travel among the islands as he was going from island to island. So the people started running away, abandoning their homes because they like, he got a gun. You can't fight a gun with a bow and arrow. You just can't do it. You don't have that evil shit in your heart. You know, sometimes evil wins temporarily. Because he didn't know there was going to be internet. He didn't know that the Indians was going to learn this language and we was going to be able to read what the fuck you wrote. Okay? So then he goes to say, man, it's 10,000 of them. He said, even if it's 10,000 of them, with this religion, with this Bible, man, we could take them over. That's how weak he thought we was. So I'm reading this like, this dude is crazy. He really think that we was just like nothing, nothing. So he did this on every island. He wanted to get to Turtle Island. He was like, "Where's the gold? Where's the this? I know they're gonna have gold. I know this is gonna lead to so much profit for Spain and Portugal. We're gonna be so rich once we take these people in." This is how he was talking. Just to give y'all a glimpse in case you don't want to read, because I read it and I was kind of like, oh, no, you didn't, mother. Okay. Because I read it. And I kept reading because it was like a movie. Like, I can't believe I ever. Uh, mm, Woosah. Okay. Woosah. And I just kept finding pictures, especially books and all the like. They didn't have cameras back then in the 14 and 1500s, but they had artists, people who would draw what they saw on the land. And if you go back and look at the American Indians from the 1400s and the 1500s and some of these old books across the seas that people are leaking out now, the people look like me. They're melanated. They have thick, dense hair. You know, what you got to say about that now, Christopher Columbus? Like, I don't think he should have a day. I don't think nobody should have a day who highlights their day by killing other people. You know? And then, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up soon because I gave you guys a lot to think about. And it's okay. Like, if you're just like, what, Dr. Sean, that you sound crazy. No, I'm woke. I was crazy before, believing in a false identity, just following everything that was handed to me, not really reading, just like feeling sorry for myself, not understanding why it's so hard, thinking that I'm breaking the generational curse, which I did, becoming a dentist out of the poverty after all the things that these people did to my ancestors. That's pretty much a miracle. But I still wasn't woke. I was still like indoctrinated through school, kind of woke. I had that energy like, dang, maybe they kind of better than me, kind of woke. But I'm still feeling like I want to be equal to them, kind of woke. Not knowing that I'm sovereign, wealthy, indigenous to this land, kind of woke. So this is just to make you think. Even though I'm dealing with a cold today, not feeling the best, I just wanted to get this off my chest. And just encourage you guys to continue to fight for your truth. Encourage you to continue to realize who you are. Do that deep dive and don't just accept things for face value because it might not be worth much when you do that. But once you peel back those layers and you start to read, now if you're not gonna read and you're just like, I'm sticking with this, then you just woke. I guess you probably not even woke. But in order for us to move as a whole unit, we have to wake up. Like truly wake up, read, understand what's going on, and stay in the know. Like, to me, honestly, it felt like knowing who you are and finding out this secret was like, oh goodness, like, no, but it's the truth. Everyone else gets to live in their truth out loud, even if it's like degrading to the real indigenous people who don't even know that they're being degraded, even if it's like a murderous history, they still get to put their stuff on the money, do this, do that. So why can't you limit your truth and know who you are? Why do you have to believe in what somebody else told you are? You know? So that's where it is for me. All 2025, guys, I'm going into 2025 like enlightened. That's why I say this year, the biggest gift I ever got this year, pretty much in my life, is the truth. And it was free. Well, it requires some time to read and understand, but you get what I'm saying? That's the biggest gift. Like, it's the truth. And that's the biggest gift you're ever going to give yourself. And I know how it is when, like, because it's a lot. It's a lot when you're coming out of this and finding all this information out. Because for me, I was just like, well, if I don't believe that, well, what do I believe now? Who am I? Like, I felt like I said, I was 0 years old every time I read something and learned something new and read these documents and realized what they really did. I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm today years old again. So every day I was just like a baby. Even now, I'm probably gonna read something new and be like, oh my goodness, all the truth is just coming out all over. And I'll tell y'all what, if they ban TikTok because they're trying to hide and prevent the spread of knowledge, it won't work. It won't work, you guys. Y'all gotta just dig in those history books and tell the truth for once. Like, let that be your new history. A message to the people out there in who stole control, the stole control ones, the ones who stole control. Let your new history be, you know what? We apologize. We're gonna get y'all shit back. I don't think that's how it's gonna happen, but that's how I would hope it would be. We apologize for switching y'all identity and lying this whole time, guys. Like, the jig is up. We fucked up. That's not gonna happen. So you have to be the one to claim who you are, know who you are, stand on business all 2025, every day, even for the every day of the rest of this year. Stand on business. Knowing the truth took a part of me away because that's how me and my family communicate. We talk in those religious terms. We talk in the way where we're black people. But now that I know I'm not black, it's so weird for me to communicate in that same manner with people who are not really as exposed to the knowledge as I am. And I try to drop tidbits to kind of wake them up. But the most dangerous thing you can do is try to force somebody to wake up. You can't force it. Nobody forced me. Nobody, it was just me with my curiosity, like, well, dang, that stuff kind of makes sense. And then when you go and read true documents and journals and you find images, it just does something to your spirit. It really does something to your spirit. You finally feel like, dang, I'm not just saying I want to go to Africa because I'm African. That used to be, I can't wait to go home to Africa. I just want to see it. Like, delusional. Delusional. But I didn't know, and you don't know. But now we know. If you made it to the end of this video, I know you know. Or I know you just like, you know what, Dr. Sean, I'm going to go do some research. I'm going to go find more research. I'm just a beginner on this level of research. Like I keep saying, I deleted all my videos or made them private because I got to go back and renegotiate my value. It's time to renegotiate your value. Like, listen, motherfucker, I'm priceless. I'm priceless. I'm worth more than you paying me for 8 hours of my time. I'm priceless. Okay? I'm a creator. I'm indigenous. I'm a builder, entrepreneur, all of the above. I'm spiritual. I want to get into that on another video, spiritual versus religion, because I'm having to decipher, a lot right now. Questioning a lot. Questioning a lot. Questioning a lot. And this is the last thing I'll leave you with. This one may be a little heavy for people who are religious and into the Bible and into Jesus. And that was me. So that was me. So when I'm telling you this, I'm telling you this from how I used to be under that spell until now when I realized the fuckery, right? So as I'm doing more research, they're like, well, King James wrote the Bible. You heard King James Bible. So I look back up, like, King James is like another Christopher Columbus. So all he did to write the Bible, he got 3 different books that had nothing to do with each other, and he put it in the Bible. Now, I leave you this question. What other book did King James write? I ain't gonna even tell you. I want you to research it. What other book, if you watch this to the end, what other book did King James write? He wrote the Bible, and he wrote another book. Now, to the church people out there, to my Christians out there, to my religious stolen identity tribe out there, even to my Niji, the ones who are woke, to the ones who woke, and to the ones who woke, and to the ones who unwoke. All of us answer this question. And I want to see how you guys feel about the other book that he wrote. This is not a trick question. Just say, what other books did King James write? He wrote the Bible and he wrote another book around the same motherfucking time. Okay? And on that note, we out. Now, I don't know if I'm going to debate the next video. Like, am I going to talk about it? I have to answer the question, obviously. So, y'all put in the comments, what other book did King James write? He wrote the Bible and he wrote another book that shocked the hell out of me. I said, there's no way this man who wrote the Bible wrote this book. Like, something ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing. The words ain't wording. The titles ain't titling. The man ain't men. And everything ain't making sense. But I say, I can't hide the truth. I can't. This is the truth. Like, now I know. Like, when you get knowledge, it's power. And the truth shall set you free. Or the truth, I don't know. Okay. So, yeah, this is a heavy episode. Well, not even an episode, but this was a heavy video. I had a lot to say. I always have a lot to say. But if you notice, I like to just conversate with you guys to get you to think without putting so many facts in your face, because really you have to get the facts. Yes, I could start putting some facts, but I do a lot of watching other YouTubers. I always shout out Tim and Phoebe Dane Calloway, Lena YouTube, a couple other ones. Like I say, if you know other ones, let me know. If you have books that you recommend, let us know, because we are in this together. Let's be woke. Okay? Woke. And unapologetic and unafraid. All right? And I just want all people out there, no matter what side of the fence you're on, just understand what the fuck kindness is. Understand what, having character is. And understanding that, if history was stolen from a people, don't just throw it in their faces. Don't just continue to try to bury it and cover it up, make new laws. And it's only going to bite you in the ass in the end. We're not going to be asleep forever. Forever. No, never, ever. All right, guys, I blabbed enough. I am out, and I will see you in the next video. This is Dr. Sean, the motivational dentist, aka Yo Niji YouTube Cheetahs, baby. Because guess what? If they can call me black, and that ain't really me, I can call myself what I want. Choctaw, Muskogee, Appalachia. Let's learn these words and get them back to flowing and get used to speaking them. I'll see y'all. Maniji. Bye.